Time now for a bigger picture with Dr. Dan from Sioux Falls Hypnosis.
We are getting much better at this. We're learning.
Yeah,
we're learning.
Yeah. What we used to do is we'd have this great conversation before the program. Then it would start. We'd be like, so, anything to talk about today? So, no, we were just chatting a little bit about, and I don't know what to call it exactly, but I'll just say buzzwords from 2024.
Right. And so what we were talking about is that I'm having conversations with people, and there's, I've been looking up narcissism on the internet, and I've got this person in my life, and my coworker, my manager, and then these different things like gaslighting, and everybody's being gaslit, and everybody's being traumatized, and I'm hearing all of these things, and one of the things that I've had to start to do now is to actually, kind of pump the brakes on that
and remind some people that.
Right.
Not always.
Not everybody you don't like is a narcissist.
Yeah. Well,
though it may seem like that.
Feels like it from time to time.
Right. And that's the thing is you and we've talked about this before, and we're going to circle around to this at the end. But the first thing you need to consider, take a deep breath. Maybe it's you.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's you.
Is.
and that always needs to be front and center.
Yeah.
Because there is a danger to being when you put yourself in the place of the victim and everybody else is the perpetrator. There's a hazard in that because you're not really seriously thinking about you anymore. You're not really seriously considering what you're doing or not doing, and where your responsibilities are, and you're sort of believing all of your normal PR.
Yeah.
And in the process of doing that, you're blind and you're deaf. That's just how it works.
Reality doesn't really...
Right. You're not being honest with yourself in most cases. And then what happens is we get this reinforced, this idea that this person's a narcissist because they do this, this, and this. And I don't know whether they are or aren't, but I think if you find yourself uttering phrases like that all the time, if you find yourself surrounded by narcissists, you might need to take a breath and consider that. And the other thing is not every negative event that happens to you is traumatic.
Yeah.
Not every disagreement you have or negative event is traumatic. Not every time you're offended, you're not necessarily being triggered in some way. And there is so much out there right now.
Well,
we're surrounded by this.
These things are
social media wise and internet wise.
And these things are being said all the time. These are kind of that's why I said almost like buzzwords for 2024.
And you're being encouraged to embrace them.
Yeah.
You're being encouraged to take them in and believe that, every overwhelming event it happens to you is obviously trauma. Yeah. Every negative person in your world is obviously a narcissist. Every everything that isn't working out for you is fundamentally unfair or wrong.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know whether that's true or not.
Yeah.
But I do know if you're not taking that deep breath and asking yourself, okay, what am I doing or not doing here? Where, what really, honestly, from a leveled position, what do I have going on here? And that's just a stop we all have to make. And if you're not making it, there is a good chance that, and we've talked a little bit about this in the past too, that everybody wants to be the hero
of their own story.
Of their own story.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is a lot of heroes actually are villains.
Absolutely.
And they're simply telling themselves a different story because that story is being reinforced and fed and encouraged by people and things around them. And you can't run through the world thinking like that. Well, you've got to be able to see a bigger picture than that. You have to. Otherwise, again, so much of your life is just you're just not being honest with yourself or anybody else, and that's just a terrible way to live.
And the whole being a hero in your own story, when you think about it, even in the movies, there were always Batman movies about Batman, and then a few years ago there's one Joker, and there's one from a different perspective, and now there's one coming out TV show called The Penguin.
The Penguin.
So you're seeing these from a different perspective, and it's fascinating to see. How they look at, the hero. I'm doing air quotes on the radio, which makes no sense. The hero, Batman, but from their perspective, he's a problem. So
one of the things that I would invite you to consider, everybody to consider, is you, whatever is going on in your world, you quite possibly are the perpetrator of that in some meaningful way.
Yeah.
And if you don't consider that, you're simply moving through the world in denial.
Yeah.
You're simply rationalizing and denying rather than trying to have an honest relationship with yourself, with the world, with the people in it. And so listen to what you're saying. Listen to the way you're conversing with people. Listen to the thoughts in your head. Is everyone around you a narcissist? Is everything that happened? Are you being gaslit all the time? Are you trauma? If these are the ways you're describing your experience, you need to take a breath and back up and take a good look at what you have going on.
And if it is time for me to say, okay, I took stock of all these things, and maybe the problem is me. But I don't know how to change. That is something that hypnosis can help with, because you can go through and help them onto a path where it's not impossible to make these changes.
Right, where it's okay to make a mistake, where it's okay to be the villain every now and again, that you get to do that and be okay. You get to develop a way to make mistakes and be all right, to recognize that you want to change something and still be okay with that. It's about being able to comfortably be who you are and realize that you will be the hero of your own story and you will be the villain of your own story at times, and it's okay. We're all like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you're interested in that kind of life,
you
could give me a call at Sioux Falls Hypnosis at 605-702-6691. You can find me on the internet at SiouxFallsHypnosis.com.
Very nice. Dr. Dan, thank you again.
Thank you.
SiouxFallsHypnosis.com is his website. And if you caught the tail end of this program, you can listen to the whole thing as a podcast at SiouxFallsPodcast.com.